Baby, oh baby, you're like medicine to me. You give me everything I need. Doctor, oh doctor, give me medicine to me.
You smile down, oh my beautiful baby, wrap your loving around.
And I'm here because you're there. Welcome, everyone. Okay, today is the 13th day in the month of November 2025. It's 10:47 a.m. right here in the city of Lagos, Nigeria, West Africa, the world, Africa. Yeah, and of course, I am so happy to let you know that Dr. Charles Adeogun will not be with us today, actually, for some reasons. No, sorry. He's here in the studio. He's here in the studio. Dr. Charles.
Good morning.
Talk to Lagos now. Let them hear your voice so that I can be free.
Good morning, everyone. And that was a very costly joke because I'm sure a lot of people may have been a bit disappointed, but here I am. Thank you for having us again.
Dr. Charles Adeogun, welcome to the studio again.
Thanks for having me.
Everyone, you know how we do it, right? We'll take your messages. I don't take calls on this show at all. So get ready to send in your messages, your concerns, and all of these things so we can trash it out. All right? It's better to just be in the know than not to be in the dark. Exactly. So everyone, use the WhatsApp number. Okay, WhatsApp portal is open. You can send in your message right now. Some of those messages I couldn't treat last week, or I couldn't read last week. Let's start with those other messages today. Just make sure you send them in, and let's have a robust conversation today. Okay. Okay. Like I said, I won't take calls. For some reasons, I won't take calls because of our time. All right. Now we're looking at something really heavy today. These are topics I think we should treat. We should talk about issues in our homes. Of course, some persons would have young ones at home, adolescents, youths, children. You know, those getting to puberty stage and all of that, and there are signs to these things. When you see these people, a child who is getting very close to puberty, the person begins, or the child, or that young man or young woman begins to act in a certain way that you might not understand. But Doc is here. Puberty, doctor. Sex education is one thing again we should talk about, and then adolescents. I don't know if we can finish this conversation today, because I want to treat it well, like we delve into it really good. So if we don't get to finish up today, maybe next Thursday we'll continue. Okay, but Doc, help us understand. Some parents don't know because probably they're not educated, or they just feel unconcerned. They're just there. And so I want you to tell us, when you hear puberty, see, I want us to break it down as much as we can. Like flatten it very well, like break it down so everyone can understand. When we say puberty, what does it mean? That word itself, What does it mean? Puberty. Let's start from there.
Okay, thank you. So puberty refers to a series of developmental changes that happens in growing children, and it marks the transition from childhood into adolescence. So typically adolescent age is that age between ages 10 and 19. That is who an adolescent is, and it is during that period that you find out that these pubertal changes occur. So in simple terms, puberty is just that phase of development in a child whereby the child is transitioning gradually into adolescence, then into adulthood. So you now at this phase have developments of secondary sexual characteristics. So this is a big term indicating that there are changes in the body, hormonal changes, physical changes that are pointing to the fact that this child is growing and developing. So you're going to be seeing important developmental signs in that child. So you may find out that for a male child, is having more broadened shoulders, is having a deeper voice, is having facial hair, and then can become a bit obstinate and aggressive too. Because hormonal changes, can make, sometimes a bit, it's at this phase of life that you notice that they are a bit difficult to control, as most parents or adults would say that this child is a bit stubborn, this child doesn't listen to instructions, this child has a mind of his own, just decides to do what he wants to do, and then they question what you ask them to do, maybe things that they don't normally question before. They now ask series of questions. Is at this phase in their lives that they are prone to experimentation, they are prone to curiosity, they are trying out so many things. It is at this phase that they are interested in all these smoking, drinking, things that they see people do around, and even asking sexual questions from people they are comfortable with. They can also have breakouts of acne, that's pimples and all those things on their faces. All these are due to the hormonal changes that they are experiencing in their bodies. For females, it is at this time that they have the development of the breast, that's their menstrual period that we call menarche, and then for some people, it's a bit delayed in some people, either because they have certain underlying conditions like sickle cell anemia. You may find out that they don't grow as quickly as their peers, and they may not attain menarche or start menstruation at the time their peers are doing so. But in some cases, it's important for us to mention that there's something called precocious puberty too. Precocious puberty means that in some children that are very, very young, they've not reached this adolescent stage, but they are already manifesting the symptoms of puberty. So precocious means it's early puberty. So they are beginning to have all those signs earlier than expected. You have some children that just grow rapidly, and then you are now wondering, what age is this child? This child is just 8 years old and is already looking like, a grown lady and all that. And then it is at this phase of puberty that they have what we call the growth spurt. The growth spurt meaning that they grow rapidly. You find out a child, everybody is looking at a child now that this child is so small, and then it just grows tall, just adds the height suddenly, and everybody is wondering, how did this happen overnight? Is this magic? This is what puberty does, because the growth hormone and then all the secondary sexual characteristics and all the reproductive organs, are doing, and the gonads are producing the hormones that prepares them for adulthood. So it's a major transitional phase in a child, and at this point in time, apart from the physical manifestations, there are also psychological and emotional changes too that may happen in children. You find out that children at this phase, we say they are more curious, they are more experimental. At this phase, they are also secretive. That is why they should have a confidence that they can talk to. They should have somebody who they can share their concerns about, because some of these things that they're experiencing in their body is new to them too. So they need somebody, an adult, a trusted adult, who is going to put them through this occurrences that they are going through, and letting them understand that it is actually normal and it's a normal transition in their lives. And then also they need to have a confidence so that they don't fall into error, because at this phase in their lives they are still innocent and they are not experienced, when it comes to life and things that happen generally. So they can fall into the wrong hands, especially getting advice from outside the immediate family. Okay. So when the immediate family or people really, really close to them are not vocal about these issues, or they don't talk in details to them or educate them properly on these things, because of their curiosity, they will get answers from elsewhere. And God help you if they get answers from the wrong sources or from people who will take advantage of them. At the end of the day, you can now have teenage pregnancies, you can have abortions, you can have infections, you can have unwanted pregnancies.
We're still coming to these abortions, pregnancies, and all of that. Sex education is another aspect of it.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, I sit here to ask questions for parents. Actually, that's what I do. All right. I want to ask you, what are those early signs of puberty we should watch out for? Because parents are listening. Let's educate them. Let them know it's a stage you should watch out for. I think you mentioned it, but
we've mentioned some of them. Again. Okay, so for the men or for the guys, you're going to have broadened chest. You notice that muscles may be building up. You may have acne outbreak because of testosterone. Then you may also find out that they are growing hair, facial hair, and then hair in their pubic area, in their armpits, voice deepens, and then you can see some behavioral changes too in them. Then for the females, of course, development of the breasts, menstruation starts, ovulation starts, and all that, and then they are beginning to have curiosity, like we said, asking questions that they don't normally ask. And that is for children that were raised to be outspoken. But some children were not raised to be outspoken, so they would rather not talk about some of these things. So but the fact that they're not talking to you does not mean they're not talking to somebody elsewhere.
Oh, really?
Exactly. So that's very important. Some children actually find it easier to talk, with their teachers, in some situations. Some prefer to talk with an auntie or an uncle, some even a neighbor, or even a complete stranger who has won their trust or they have confidence in. They're able to open up and ask questions. But the important thing is, we are emphasizing now that this education must come from the home, from the parents, because nobody can love your child as much as you do as a parent. You understand? Nobody should give your child the attention that you, the parent, should give your child. So if you are an absent parent and you don't have time to speak with your children on these crucial issues, your children will have to learn these things from somewhere else. But the fear is, let it not be the wrong source. Because if it's the wrong source, there are predators out there who can prey on your children, can take advantage of your children, who can take advantage of their innocence and their naivety. And, it results in some unwanted outcomes like teenage pregnancy, abortions, infections, and, a child whose body is just developing and is not ready to carry a child yet. There are a lot of complications that come from teenage pregnancies, obstructed labor, VVF. These are real things that happen, in some areas of Nigeria where there is childhood marriage and all that. All the complications that come with, teenage pregnancies and all that. All these things, should actually start from the home. Good education about these things must start from the home, from the parents. So the parents should actually be the best friend of the adolescent. And you, the parents, should also try to understand that this child is growing, this child is developing. There are lots of changes that the child will be experiencing. And the child would also want privacy more around this time. So the child doesn't want you to barge into their rooms. The child doesn't want you to just walk into anywhere they are in. They also want their own alone time.
You don't get sense.
They don't get sense. They want their own privacy, and they need you to knock on their door before you enter. So it's nothing really weird per se, but give them that respect. They appreciate it when you do that. They appreciate the fact that you don't see them as babies that you are feeding anymore. That you are acknowledging that they are growing. And then they also acknowledge the fact that you engage them.
You said no book.
Exactly. You engage them in conversations. You ask for their opinion on things. That really goes a long way, because you are asserting their intelligence, and you are trying to tell them, look, we know that you are growing, we know that you are developing well, and your opinion or your perspective on issues count. You know, those are the ways that parents can actually encourage their kids, you know, in this phase. Because in the African setting, most time your parents talk to you and you're not expected to talk back. You're expected to just collect information, be on the receiving end and be obedient all through. Okay. But when the parents now say, okay, we've told you these things, we've given you these instructions, we want to hear back from you, we need your own feedback. That thing tells the child that they are valued, that their opinions count, and in that way they can actually listen to you better and be compliant with any instruction or guidance you want to give them, because you don't want them to fall into error. You need to always get feedback from them so that you know what is happening to them. And you must have time to discuss what happened in school, what happened at the lessons, what happened when they went for a party, what happened in different places, so that they can open up to you and tell you if something is going wrong somewhere, and you would know early and you can guide them appropriately. So when a teenager goes to a party and is close enough to his parents to tell them, when we were at that party, they gave us something to smoke, but I remember they told me that we shouldn't be doing this kind of thing, that it can disrupt our lives and all that. I had to decline, that I didn't want, you know. Instead of you screaming, hey, oh my God, you're never going to go out again and all that, you should say yes, because we trust you enough that you're responsible enough to take care of yourself. We've given you the right instruction at home, and we're happy that you're sharing your experience outside with us. That matters a lot.
But in the Nigerian setting, I want to ask you a question, but you're dragging me something else. In a Nigerian setting, parents will at that moment tell you, once it's 5 o'clock, where you go inside.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Do you understand?
Yes, there's nothing.
Go inside. Hello.
Go
let
inside.
Me yes,
let me not see you. Don't cross this door. Yes, it's fine to say that, but give a reason why. You see, there's a reason. Because for me, even as a doctor, let me digress a bit. Even for me as a doctor, I've noticed that no human being likes you just dishing instructions to them and controlling them, in quotes.
No human being.
No human being, whether young or old. There's something in you that will revolt and say, no, I don't want this. I have my own life. I have my own say. Why would you just sit down somewhere and be dishing orders and telling me? So there's a tendency for resistance to come. And when resistance comes, problem has started. Because the person would resist most of the things or most of your suggestions. In fact, a child can shut his mind and say any suggestion from this father or mother, I'm not listening. And that becomes a problem. And because you have the best intention for them at heart, even when you are giving them the right information, they are not receptive to it because they've already shut out their minds to whatever instruction or advice you have to give them. So I've noticed that as a doctor, I've met people who don't like taking their drugs. There's nothing you can tell them.
And they need it.
Of course,
but they don't want to take it.
But they don't want to take it because they believe somebody is just sitting down somewhere writing, take this 3 times a day, take this for 1 week, take this for 2 weeks, then come back again and do tests, then maybe we'll give you some other thing. The person is like, who do you think you are? You're just dishing out things for me to go and buy and be using. If it's that easy, why are you not using it too? You know, that in their minds, they're just saying it as somebody is controlling their lives. That's how they interpret it. But the truth of the matter is, I've noticed that it works better when you tell them, this is my recommendation. It is still your choice to do it or not to do it. But there is a phrase, it is in your best interest to do it. Because if you do it, this is what will happen. This your BP will be better controlled. This your sugar will be better controlled. You will be able to sleep better. You know, just follow these instructions. Try to avoid this kind of foods and all that. And you yourself will see how your health would improve. Okay? So when you lay the options open, that it is a recommendation, it is in your best interest. I am a professional. I know better in this. That is why I'm advising you to do it. But nobody is compelling you to do anything. It is still your choice. But I would advise you to choose this path. When you tell them that and you explain how the drug works and what the drug is expected to do in them, it's common sense. Now, they are more likely to be receptive to you. They're more likely to listen to you and be compliant with what you're saying. So I've seen it work so many times. When you pay attention to explaining in details and you clarify things to them and you are giving them the reasons why they should follow your instructions, most likely they would. They don't want to die too now, but they don't like the idea of being controlled. So the same applies to adolescents and young adults too. When you tell them the reason why we're asking you to come in at this time is because of this. It's not safe out there. Safety is a concern. We don't want you to mingle with this kind of people. Why? Because of this reason and this reason and this reason. There's peer pressure. Peer pressure is real. Addiction problems with substance abuse is real. We don't want you to get entangled in any of those things. It's very hard for people who get involved to detach themselves from it or withdraw from it. So when you give them tangible reasons why they should not, embark on certain trips or join certain crowds or go out or stay out late at night, give them cogent reasons why they shouldn't, and they would reason with you, and they'll be able to understand that, oh, this person is not just a lawmaker, a legislator that is just at home just dishing out laws and regulations and expecting us to follow everything to the letter. The person is actually, working in our best interest, and the person is trying to protect us. The person is trying to, keep us from danger. And when parents or older adults or guardians of these kids are able to let them know that, look, we've been in this world longer than you've been. We have experience in this world, and we've had our own mistakes too that we made in the past. We don't want you to follow through this kind of mistakes. That's why we're trying to guide you now. And when you give tangible, examples, that they can appreciate of where somebody has made an error as a young person, made some wrong choices, and then some wrong outcomes or some unfavorable outcomes have occurred due to consequences of the wrong decisions they've taken or lack of guidance. These children can learn from such experiences, and they can now know that you're actually on their side and you're actually trying to keep them from error. That's the only way you can get somebody to be compliant and be obedient to you. It's not by force, it's not by beating, it's not by screaming, it's not by being aggressive, and it's not by trying to compel them to do something, because it's just normal human nature. Anything you ask somebody not to do and you're not giving a good reason why they should not do it, they are interested. In fact, you have actually fanned their curiosity. You flamed the curiosity, and they really want to know what is in that thing that you're trying to take away from them. And God help you, they go to find out outside, it becomes a complicated issue. And then you now have children that now act like they have two faces, because they are one face at home and there's something else outside. And that is a very bad place for any parent to be, because you will really not know your child, because your child will only tell you what he or she knows you want to hear while you're there, and be of their best behavior while you're present, and there's something else behind you. And it's just one day when you eventually see that something really terrible has been going on behind you, and it could really be detrimental with horrible consequences. So it's very important that you know your children and you have a very good cordial relationship with them.
Okay, let me ask you, can a 7-year-old have puberty? You know what I'm asking? You see some little children develop, of course you said it has to do with the development of some parts of the body. You made mention of broad shoulders, pubic hair and all of that. So I'm asking, sometimes even the breast, right? Now, you find out that some little children around 7, 8, 9, max 10 have started developing. If you see their breasts, you think this one is above around 12 or 13 or say 15. That's why I'm asking this question. Is it possible? Can a 7-year-old girl?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I call precocious puberty. There's something called precocious puberty, meaning it is early puberty. It is happening earlier than expected. Some children actually have precocious puberty, and it's a hormonal issue, that is causing that
hormonal issue.
Yes, causing early development of the secondary sexual characteristics. And in this kind of children, they should see a pediatrician or a pediatric endocrinologist to actually evaluate them, and then be monitoring them and their progress. Because the truth is, we also have in psychology, we also have child psychology. It's very important that such children too, maybe their mind should be prepared already, for the outside world, because the outside world there is cruel. They don't care whether you are young or old. If you go and fall in the hands of these predators, they don't know that you are a child. They don't look at you as a child. They see you as a grown person, and they can take advantage of your innocence. So that is why it is very important that parents or guardians and even teachers and even schools or anybody or group of persons that are in charge of children or adolescents should actually not shy away from educating these children on essential parts of their bodies that should be protected, that should not be toyed with by anybody. Those are, I'm sure you see on social media and in some places where people sing some songs, they teach children some songs, that there are some areas of my body that are private. Nobody should ever touch this area. Nobody should ever fondle or play with these areas of my body. And if they do, please report, speak up to a responsible adult. That's very, very essential, because nowadays, you have pedophiles everywhere. You have people who see children as people who they can prey on and take advantage of their naivety. So it's very essential that this education is incorporated into the normal school curriculum, and then parents on their own should also, at home, charity begins at home. Don't expect the school to do what you as a parent should do for your child at home. So you should also educate your child at home and make out time to know your child. Go through things with your child. Ask your child about their experiences. How has school been? How has the week been? If they're on holidays, make out time to listen to how they spent their time. Who are they spending time with? Who are their friends? Where have they been to? All these are important.
I love the fact that you mentioned school. All right, it should be taught in school. But what about church? No, hold on. I want to bring in a pastor here. I'm trying to get across, and of course he's with me right now. Pastor Femi Olubumi is the head pastor, God's Grace Head Cornerstone. A big church here in Lagos. I want to get his own thought. This puberty thing, sex education, we don't teach it in churches.
Yeah, because
we go to churches and we feel
away from it in churches. In church, there are certain topics that are considered. Don't go there. Let's not dabble into those areas. Let's just, we just sweep it under the carpet. But the truth is, the real issues are there, and these are issues that are ignored. But at the end of the day, when problems come, the problems stare us in the face directly. Of course. So it's important that we get over that.
Let's talk to Pastor Femi Olubumi. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I am doing very fine. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Now, we're talking about puberty. Before we enter sex education, we're talking about puberty. Or let me just put it together first, so you can talk to us about this. Why is it that we don't discuss all of these in church, but we give it out to, I don't know, maybe schools alone or parents alone to discuss? People see it as when you discuss sex education in a church, inside the congregation, you are messing up the children already. You are teaching them something that you're not supposed to teach them. You feel that they feel, no, these children are still kids now, don't spoil them. Pastor, talk to us about this.
Thank you very much once again for having me. This topic is a very sensitive one. But I make bold to tell you this morning that even in churches now, we do teach about sex education. Yes, you may be right that before now, it was not a subject that was very popular in the church. Like Randy said, we try to beat it down or make it look inconsequential as possible. In fact, in some other churches, they deceive these young ones. They tell them fables that are not true. And it is these fables that are not true that will even make them to go and see how true what you are telling them is. And in the process of going to test these things out, the majority of them fall victim. But like I said, to the glory of God, things are not like that anymore. Most of the churches we have now, I don't want to call them new generational churches, but I want to rather refer to them as churches that have evolved. We now have time to teach, especially the teenagers, because in these churches that are called the evolving churches, we have teenagers class separate from just the children and the youth and the adults. So we have these churches and classes differently. So each class, each section is handled properly in a way that the children or the group of people in that sect can relate with the topic and the subjects of discourse. So in churches today, I can boldly tell you, in evolving churches, like I want to put them, we talk about this. In fact, we bring in professionals to talk about it. Like in my church, on the 30th of November, we have a professor of medicine. It's our family Sunday in church. A professor of medicine from Lagos State University of Technology is coming to lecture us. Okay. So I'm sure he should also have time to talk to our teenagers about their bodies and how we should keep it going forward. So in modern churches today, we have that.
Okay. Now, Pastor, just like we were discussing, Doc, we often say, people should learn to engage themselves in a church. I mean, engage a doctor or someone who's going to teach you what you don't know, especially as regards your health. Now, let me come back to you, Pastor. I just want to seek your opinion on this. What do you feel? How do you see it? Is it good as a godly parent, as a godly father or a godly mother, to show your children the sex? I mean, how do we the sexual organs? A female sexual organ and a male sexual organ, just to teach, in a way, to teach the child what it is, so that you will not be fooled or be deceived by anyone out there. What do you think, as a godly parent?
There's nothing bad in that. The organs you are talking about are on their bodies. They are on their bodies. So you showing it to them is not strange to them. Okay, because they have it on their bodies. You have this to touch it. If you do this to it, if this happens to it, this is the result you will get. So I don't think there's anything wrong in showing them these things and teach, even right from when they are little children. But in Africa, we tend to shy away from sex education. But it's not like that. It shouldn't be like that. So there's nothing bad. There's no sin in that.
Pastor, before I let you go, I want to elaborate a little. They say, as a parent, make you show the pikin a matured sex organ. I was in a conference, where the speaker was saying that it's best you don't use the child's own as an example. Use your own as an example. That's what the speaker was saying. So, Pastor, what do you think? You think that is out of it?
I don't agree. I don't agree with that. There is no need to go to the extreme, the extra mile. Like I said, these organs are on the bodies of your children. And right from the time they were babies, you are taking care of them. And as they continue to grow, especially when they are within the age, then you can still bath them. You can still have access to them as their parents. Okay, because of course when it gets to a certain age, when they become teenagers, they will tell you, "Mommy, I can do it myself. Don't come." They want to cover it. Okay, but when they are still within that age bracket, when you can date them, when you can, have access to them, in the process of doing this, you tell them that, look, you see this part of your body, this one, I'm a woman like you, or I'm a man like you. I have a replica. This is what it's for. This is why you should protect it. There's no need for you to go to the extreme of showing them your own. I think by doing that, you are making it. You are making it more grouse, and the child may become a little embarrassed by that action. So we need to really be cautious, and sometimes these are our motivational speakers. They like to go overboard.
Pastor, I just want to hear from you because you're a pastor. I wanted to just have a say on it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the studio. Doc, is it possible for or let me say, can I be 20 and still in puberty?
Well,
20 years old.
you know, like we said, for some people with certain developmental challenges, they may have, you know, a retardation in those developments. You know, just like you have precocious puberty, you have certain people who they don't develop as quickly as they should for various reasons. It could be from a pituitary gonadal problem. That's a big medical term, whereby your pituitary gland that controls all the other glands of your body is not sending the right signals to your reproductive you know, system, and your reproductive system is not growing as it should. So you can have certain cases where people have delayed developmental transition. So that can happen in some cases, but it will be rare. It's not going to be a common thing. Okay. Though we know that people like in sickle cell and in some other conditions, there is a little delay, but they would eventually attain. It go eventually come. So, but the thing also that we should mention here is that for people who are around others who are quickly developed while they are still small, or they are not seeing all those signs in them yet, it could also be a source of embarrassment if they are not well educated. You know, if those children are not well lectured, that look, you are normal, there's nothing wrong with you, it's a normal phase, people grow at different rates. The fact that your friends are having this, are having that, doesn't make you any less a human being. And so that it doesn't affect their self-esteem. You know, at this point in their lives, they have a lot to deal with: changes in their bodies, changes in their behavior, in their emotions, even academic stress too. You know, because at this point in time, they have a lot to do in high school, secondary school, exams to prepare for, a lot of pressure here and there. They are trying to be good children at home, good students at school. You know, with all these things, you can also see them encountering a lot of challenges. So you don't want to add self-esteem issues to those things. That is where the parents and the adults in their lives should, you know, continually give them, you know, reassurance that they are fine, that they are good, there's nothing wrong with them, you know. But if there's anything that is worrisome about their development at any point, they can see a pediatrician. You know, a pediatrician is a medical doctor who is specialized in problems with children. Even up to the adolescent age, they can still see the pediatrician. So it's very necessary that children have a good self-esteem, because if the self-esteem is lost in childhood, that child is going to be an adult that would have been traumatized. That child will develop to be an adult who will have social anxiety, who will not be able to stand in front of a crowd, who will be shying away from things, who won't be able to speak out, who won't be able to defend himself, and who won't be able to have a voice, because the child has remained silent and has seen himself or herself as inferior to other people, or has not been you know, or who doesn't have the capability that other people have. So it's very important that parents look for signs of self-esteem erosion in children. The moment you notice that your child is feeling left out, or saying that I'm not like other children, I'm not good enough, you know, I don't want to engage in this, they say I'm not good enough, they say I don't know how to do this, they say I don't know how to do that, the parents at that point in time should quickly correct the child and say, you are your best version, there's nobody like you, you are unique, you're special, you have everything you need to be the best, and you can be the best. So the moment you start, anything you tell a child is like plasticine, very moldable, very malleable into any shape you want them to be. That is why you take advantage of those formative years. Those are the years that you can influence them positively. Those are the years that you can actually add value to them. Those are the years that you can imbibe the right culture in them. Those are the times that you can actually let them see themselves that, look, they can take on the world. They have all it takes to be everything they want to be. That is how a great adults can evolve. But if you tell a child you can't do this, even from the things that parents tell their children, you can't do this, that's why you're Olodo, you don't know anything, you can't wash plates, you can't even have your bath well, there's nothing you know how to do, only eat, all those things, you know.
And that child keeps hearing that every day.
We trivialize those things, we think those things don't matter. They do, because it's just like a seed you are sowing in the soil.
Let me tell them this one.
Yes, it's like a seed you are sowing in that child, because you tell the child, you have been useless. Everybody knows you are useless. There's nowhere you go. You are useless in the school, you are useless at home, homework you don't know, you are getting odo every day. Even your teacher is complaining every day. Us too at home, we are beating you every day. Coconut head. They are calling the child all sorts of names. This child hears this, and this child sucks it all in, absorbs it. You think those child too, they don't have their silent moments? They do. They will just sit down and say, maybe they say he's coconut head. Maybe they say he does not know anything, and let him not know anything now. When they ask him something in class, they'll say, what's the point? My teacher has already said I don't know anything, so there's nothing I will say.
So even if he knows, he'll be fidgeting. He feels he doesn't know.
He will even doubt himself. He will live in self-doubt, because even when they ask him 1 + 1, he knows the answer is 2, but he doesn't even have the confidence to say it's 2. He will say, if I talk now, they've always called me Olodo, they will just call me Olodo and everybody will laugh at me again. Let me just keep quiet. They will say, see, he doesn't even know it, whereas he does. He does, but he just cannot voice it out because you have silenced him. And you have made him believe. So there's something called self-loathing. You can make somebody hate themselves. You can make somebody have self-doubt. You can make somebody feel that they are nothing by what you say perpetually and repeatedly. So this goes out to parents, this goes out to teachers, this goes out to tutors, this goes out to guardians. You know, the things you say to these children matters a lot. If you keep using negative words on them, if you keep telling them, reminding them of their mistakes, of their weaknesses, of the things they can't do well, rather than correcting it or strengthening them or helping them come out of those weaknesses and become improved version of themselves, then these children cannot evolve into the adults you want them to be. Things would only get worse. So we should learn to say positive things to these children. We should learn to encourage them. Nobody came out, out of their mother's womb knowing everything. We are all on a learning process. So let the child to learn, and let them learn from their mistakes. So if they make an error, rather than use, screaming on them and making them feel like they've done the worst thing in the world that nobody else has done before, let them understand that, look, you have made a mistake. This is an error. This is not how to solve this thing. I've shown you before. Be patient. Calm down. You know it. Calm down and put your mind to it. This is how to solve it. Can you see? Try to do it. Let me see. Those are the things. Encourage the child. Yes, you got the first step. Try the second step. Yes, you can see you are actually getting it.
Doctor, now few people get this patient too. For this
Africa,
for this
I have
Nigeria.
seen it in children that once they do the first
give
step,
a knock.
Once they do the first step,
pencil, take knocking.
Once you do the first step and you appraise them like, yes,
Oh,
you've done well, congratulations. Go to the second step. Go to the second step. You can see it's in you. Just bring it out. It's in you. You are smart. You're intelligent. Your father is smart. I am also smart. Let the mother tell the child that, and then the child will say, you can't be dull now. Look at us now. We are smart people. Where will your own dullness come from? Yeah, a smart child. It's just that you don't know that you are smart. Just charge them up. Inspire them, motivate them. They will do better, and you will see the smile on the face of the child when he completes his assignment and he sees that he got everything. The child will look at himself. He wants super smile and look like a superstar. They will say, see, it's in you. We've always told you that you have it, but you are never patient. You're always in a rush, and you don't take your time to read the questions well before answering. Those things, these are the things that we should let these children know. But when you start saying you slap the child will just cry. Then the child just be holding the pen. You say, before I come back, finish that homework, or you see the child on number 5. Since you left, he was still on number 5. You meet him on that number 5, and you say, see, you are a dullard, let's just send you to mechanic workshop. You are wasting our school fees. And the truth is that child cannot get better that way. That is the truth. The child can never ever.
You see this part, I never wanted to touch this part you're going, because I'm emotional already. I'm feeling what you're saying.
Because it's the truth. It's the truth. It happens all the time.
Dog, wait. Some people don't receive, some children don't receive beating.
They kind of beating.
Tired.
And that beating,
just to spell one thing. You won't kill them. With kata everything for mouth.
The child,
10 minutes you beat him. He must spell this.
The child will cry and cry. And when you say spell bag, the child will say be what?
And you are beating the child all alone.
After a while, the child will not even say anything away. After a while, the child will just tell you Z. Kill him if you want to kill him. Yes, no. Because the truth of the matter is that is not the way to teach a child. You're just going to get yourself worked up. You're going to get yourself agitated, and you keep hurling out negative comments on that child, and that is not helping the child one bit. So it's very necessary to know when to apply discipline, and discipline comes in various forms. You see, parenting too, is something that should be a topic.
It's another thing again.
It's another topic. Parenting, mentorship, and then trying to give these children the kind of guidance they need.
We just get mama and papa where they just bump the king. They know sabe.
They
say parenting, No.
Because some of them, they are actually playing back what their own childhood experiences were on their own children. That's the truth.
Must you?
Must you? Good question. Must you? Because some people will say, if I don't know 2 times table, I won't eat that night. If I don't know 2 times table, or I miss my assignment, or I didn't do well, that means that's no food for me. They will lock me outside. All those kind of things. Maybe your own parents did that to you, and you felt that was what made you get serious. But children are different. Children are peculiar. Each child, in fact, if you have 5 children, the 5 of them are different. They are unique. They have different strengths. They have different weaknesses. They have different capabilities, and they have different destinies. So you cannot impose one method you use for one child.
Can't you see your brother?
Can't you see? And then that's another thing. You see all this sibling comparison, saying you see your elder brother, that one A flyer, always getting A, getting all the prizes on prize giving day ceremony. He's always the first in the class. He's always this, he's always that. Boy, you Olodo, you are just the black sheep of the family. You are our prayer point.
Can you imagine?
You are our prayer point. You are the one giving us problem every day. Maybe we should take you for deliverance. Maybe all those kind of things.
Go to mountain of fire.
All those kind of things. When the child hears that, the child will just tell you that well. Is the worst person in the family. They don't even expect much from him anyway, so why should he even bother improving on himself? Everybody has said he's horrible, so he will not just even make any attempt to be better.
This side with the discussion is tilting towards it. Another thing is, let me mention it, hatred sometimes starts from there.
Of course, sibling rivalry.
Before you know, say while we're young, it's you that used to.
Exactly.
Mommy used to say, Daddy used to. Before you, go on.
Shebi, you were their favorite. You were their favorite. They loved you. They didn't love us. You were the best. They were always buying you all the gifts, and they never sent us. They never gave us anything. And now, see, we are doing better than you. We are doing better than you now. Can you see all those things? Shebi, people thought I was the black sheep of the family. You people thought I wasn't going to amount to anything. But am I not better than you guys now? And then it's now time to revenge. And then now you now see your siblings like competitors. All these things that parents do to favoritism. Showing that you love one child more than the other. Showing that this child is special. Showing that this child is so intelligent, and using the child as example everywhere. In fact, not only in your immediate family, even in extended family. When you make your child look like your child is a genius, you display your child's results. Maybe he did excellently well in his exams, and you display it to nephews, uncles, aunties, and all that. It causes problem at the end of the day. It causes big problems, because you now find out that a lot of people are envious of you, envious of your kids. You are breeding enemies without even realizing it. All these things are big issues that parents should really, really take note of. That you don't expose your children unduly, and then you don't necessarily, even when things are going well, keep it in the wraps. It's for you. Thank God. Celebrate your successes and your wins privately. You don't need to broadcast it, and everything is not for testimony. My child got all straight A's, in his exams. Thank God that the money you paid, became fruitful. But you don't need to go and display it and broadcast it everywhere, because, not everybody is happy for you. That's the reality of life. And we need to really know that. And don't put that child who is just growing, who is just developing, into, throwing him among wolves without you realizing, thinking that you are bragging with your child, but you're actually inviting, big problems,
Okay. I love the fact that we've been able to educate a whole lot of people.
I hope so.
But you know what? Let's come back home to puberty. Of course. Let's come back home. Let me ask you, can one delay puberty? Is it possible to just
delay puberty, like intentionally delay it? Well, that's not what will happen naturally. That's not what will happen naturally, unless you go for some hormonal disruptors, or you start some medications. Well, that's even a rare occurrence. That's not anything that can happen.
Then another question is, why are girls hitting puberty earlier than guys?
Well, the truth is, yes, that can happen, because at a stage, girls grow faster than boys, and girls mature faster than boys. That's the truth. Even intellectually, even in terms of behavioral maturity and all that. Yes, that's true.
Scientifically proven?
Yes, because in some cases you find out that if you have elder sisters, they are almost like a mother figure when your mother is not in. They tend to arrange things. They don't tend to just scatter the whole house like boys would do. They tend to keep things in order. They'll be the one to say, I'll report to our parents when they are back that you are doing this. They've told us not to do this. They are kind of thinking more like adults, before the boys starts realizing that they need to also grow up and mature and all that. So if you have elder sisters as siblings, you would notice that they follow that trend of maturity, of responsibility, keeping the house clean, taking up duties, being helpful in the house and all that. But for the boys too, it now depends on the kind of training and upbringing the parents have given both boys and girls too, because you actually have some boys too that can actually do the household work very well, even without supervision. So it depends on the method of parenting too, and how much of time that the parents have given their children and how available they've been to them. So it's something that
at this juncture, I want you to tell us more about Doctor's Mic for some persons who are just coming in and what they stand to get.
Okay, Doctor's Mic is a platform like we know where, like what we do here every Thursday, we're able to dissect important issues relating to health and wellness. We're able to talk about preventive care. We're about, telling you that you can do something about your health, regardless of where you are in your health journey. You can improve your health. You can make important lifestyle changes, important lifestyle decisions, that can actually improve your wellness and your health. Because we are all about how would you have a better quality of life? How would you live longer and live well with a good quality of life? So we are able to dissect these topics. And aside the studio work, we are very open to organizing seminars, workshops, community projects, community outreaches. We go to churches, we go to schools, educating on reproductive health, like we're talking about, educating on substance abuse among young people, educating about contraception, and then teenage pregnancies and all that. And then for preventive healthcare, we notice that a lot of men, for instance, it's International Men's Month in November. So a lot of men, we're emphasizing a lot of men don't pay attention to their health. As a doctor, I've observed over the years that we only see men when there's an emergency, when the heart attack has happened, when the stroke has happened, when the kidney damage has happened. You rarely find them when you can still help them, when you can salvage things. They come in when there's already prostate cancer. They come in when already something has seriously gone wrong. So this is an avenue or a platform whereby you can take advantage of the professionals that are available. It's a multi-specialist setting. There are multiple specialists available who can help you.
A whole lot of specialists.
To organize the right outreaches for communities. A lot of corporate entities can use that as their CSR, and then of course you have a lot of we have a lot of collaborations that we have with other important health institutions that can help us deliver this kind of services that these communities need. So estates, schools, churches, organizations, even corporate, mosques, banks, corporate bodies who are concerned about moving their health to the next level. We are there to help you achieve that and to achieve your health goals. So you can reach out to us on Instagram. You can reach out to us on Facebook, on those social media platforms, and we will be glad to help you to organize any of these important events for your organization. And a lot of people are benefiting from it already, because we choose important topics just like we're talking about here, and we're able to dissect them. And it's going to be an interactive session where every participant of such event would go back better informed, well educated, and better empowered to face their challenges.
So it's Doctor's Mic on Facebook and Instagram. Just Facebook and Instagram alone. Doctor's Mic. DOCTOR''S. And then the mic is MIC. Doctor's Mic. Just go to Facebook and Instagram and just drop that. Follow Doctor's Mic also. All right. For updates and more information, have a time with doctor one-on-one. Like you said, there are several doctors there. Depends on the one way when the thing concern, they'll take up a case like that.
Correct.
So that's it. That's everyone. Let's just take some few questions, because of our time. Just very few questions.
Okay.
Good morning, Judy and the doc. I noticed my son has grown hair in his private parts and is just 12 years old, and he behaves like an adult just in GSS3. Ade from Lagos is one sending a message.
Yeah, this is exactly what we're talking about. So he's already in puberty, and this is the age of adolescence. So he may think like an adult, behave like an adult, and you now see that he's actually developing these sexual secondary characteristics. So basically that's normal. It's not anything to worry about. It's just he just needs good guidance and mentorship at this phase of his life.
All right, God bless you for today's program. Africa needs to really evolve because trauma is real. I remember my stepmom always abused me with negative words, and the one I hold on to was her saying I am ugly. For years, I couldn't approach ladies to toast them for years. Until a day, a lady came up to me and said, I'm handsome.
Wow.
Yeah, and toasted me. Since then, the confidence to, walk up to a lady came up to me. And my question is, why do parents shy away from even teaching, their children financial education too? This is also important.
Yeah, this is also important because a lot of parents, they just think the child is still living under my roof. I cater to his needs, whatever he needs, he's always asking me. But you forget that this child is in a learning process. This child is learning in school. So there's formal learning, there's informal learning. The child is learning all round. Everything around the child is sending messages to that child, whether we realize it or not. So financial knowledge or financial awareness is something that is important for parents to start imbibing in their children, because if you cultivate the habits of saving, letting them realize that you save for the rainy day, every money you get, either you are gifted the money or you earned the money or the money was given to you one way or the other, it is not for you to burn it all up and always be asking for buying of things or just buying things on impulse. So it's very necessary for you to get a fraction of it saved. You can teach them how to save. Whatever you earn, whatever you have, just keep a fraction of it, because there will be a rainy day. I was reading something recently that made sense, that money talks to us. And money talks to us and says, save me today so I can save you tomorrow. So if you don't save the money today, what are you going to fall back on tomorrow when there's problem? So you let the children know that even you as their parents, the reason why you have money available to take care of them is because you have set out money apart for their care.
I appreciate you, doctor. Growing up, before I got admitted to the university, I was going to a friend's shop who produced sandals and shoes, and he was teaching me for free. All I needed was just encouragement from my dad, but he kept telling me if I thought I could learn that because I haven't gotten admission, and he wanted me to go to school. Finally, I stopped going there. Got admitted to school, and now a graduate, no job. If I had learned that handwork, I would have been using it today.
Well, the truth is, no knowledge is wasted. In the days we live now, no knowledge is wasted. I'm a doctor, but I'm here on air talking about something else, and I've also developed my public speaking skills. Everybody is born with one gift or the other. There's a talent you have in you, but when you grow in a toxic environment where you are not appraised, where your talents are not identified and they are not harnessed, or they are not encouraged, you are not able to see the good in yourself. But if you are able to identify what your gifts and your talents are, you should develop them regardless of your academic training or your academic qualifications, because it can also be a good source of revenue for you at some point.
Please, doctor, is there any remedy for a person that is addicted to drinks? My brother drinks a whole lot, and it makes him misbehave aggressively, but feel remorse when he's sober.
Yes.
I don't know where to take him for rehabilitation.
Yes, that happens all the time because, substance abuse is real. So alcohol is just one of the numerous substances that people abuse, and it has a mind-blowing effect on your brain and on your behavior. So there's even a level of alcohol or alcoholism that you get to that they can even lead you to a psychosis. where you start behaving aggressively and irrationally and all that. So it's very necessary that he is rehabilitated, and the best way to do it is to seek counsel. You can reach out to us for further guidance and information. Help is available. Rehabilitation is possible. A lot of people have been able to tackle their drink addictions, and they've successfully won the battle. So I believe your brother will not be an exception.
Okay. Like I said, a couple of persons are trying to get through, but it's easy. Just go to Doctor's Mike on Facebook and Instagram. DOCTOR''S. Okay, and then Mike, MIC, Doctor's Mike, and you're just there. I don't take calls on the show. For those who have been calling, I don't take calls at all. I just encourage messages. But we're even about wrapping up. I got this quickly. I just looked through my social media platform, my page on social media, and someone is asking a question on Facebook. Hey, okay, on Facebook I am Ikami Jude. Okay, let me spell it: IKAMIJUDEH. Even on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all of them, I am Ikami Jude. IKAMIJUDEH. Okay, let me see if I can get that question. Somebody is asking, what happened? Okay, I've seen it. It said, kindly help me and ask the doctor the reason my daughter is always having green and yellow thick saliva. Green and yellow thick saliva, my daughter.
Okay, first and foremost, she needs to hydrate well. Saliva is very necessary not only for digestion, it also helps in lubricating the mouth, and then also helps in for antibacterial function. It's very healthy for your oral health. So you need to make sure that she stays well hydrated, and then to a very large extent, we need to find out her drug history. Has she been having any underlying conditions where she's on any medications that may be causing dryness of the mouth, or may be causing this kind of symptom that she's experiencing, and she may need to go to a dentist for proper evaluation, to check the oral cavity, and then to see if there are anything that needs to be picked up, and then the right management to be instituted.
Having hotness every night.
Hotness every night.
Please, I always have hotness.
It depends on your age. If you're a woman and you're menopausal, yes, you can have hot flashes. You may be sweating a lot. But if you're a man, you may also need to find out if there are other symptoms. If you're having night sweats, because that is what it is, night sweats, we would need to ask you other important question. Are you having a chronic cough? Are you losing weight? Do you have a fever? It may also lead. The doctor may be thinking of tuberculosis. In some cases, that if you have all these other symptoms of, cough, fever, a chronic cough, or to the hospital to get properly evaluated.
Go to the hospital.
Yes.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you so much. We have to go because of our time.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Doc. On Instagram, on Facebook, like I said, Doctor's Mike.
So like the page, drop your comments, make inquiries.
Beautiful.
We'll be glad to assist you.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Doc. Really cannot appreciate you enough.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. My name is Jude. Ikami Jude. I'll see you again on Doctor's Mike on Thursday. We do this only Thursday, Jude. I'll see you again on Doctor's Mike on Thursday. We do this only Thursday between 10:30 and 12. All right? 10:30 and 12. Check your time now. It's about 11:48. Okay, I really have to go now. Don't forget, on social media I am Ikami Jude. You can also drop an information for me, and then we'll just take it up from there. I love you all so much, and from me to you, let's have a blessed and a wonderful day. Good morning.